What's up, everybody? This is Carl from Techful Goodies, and today we're doing something a little bit different. This isn't particularly a product review. This is actually something that's sort of near and dear to my heart, and I kind of wanted to get the word out about this. Something you might not know about me is the fact that I've been going through a lot of chemotherapy, a lot of immunotherapy, a lot of different treatments for stage 4 cancer, and due to that, I have sort of lost feeling in my hands. So I have neuropathy. And what that means is that I can't really feel anything in my fingers. You say to me, hey, Carl, wait a second. You do a full review channel where all you do is use your hands to review these things. And yes, you might notice that sometimes I might fumble things around or have a hard time opening things. And that would be why. So the reason I'm doing this is because this Keychron keyboard right here has actually been a life changer for me, and I'm not exaggerating. So I wanted to make sure I put a video out for anyone who's sort of suffering from the same sort of issues that I am, and sort of walk through the process I went through to go from not typing at all after my treatments to being able to fully type again. So as a former game developer, programmer, website designer, I was used to being able to touch type very quickly. And I went from being able to touch type to nothing. So I was stuck doing voice to text for all my emails at work, voice to text searching the web, voice to text for almost everything. I mean, I could still use a mouse, that's fine. But at the same time, that just slowed me down and just became an extreme bottleneck in my life. And if you have neuropathy and you're watching this, you might actually be saying, yeah, Carl, I know exactly what you're talking about. So my son actually got himself a Red Dragon mechanical keyboard, and I messed around with it, and I thought to myself, wow, I can actually start to type. So that got me into the rabbit hole of mechanical keyboards, all the way from custom keyboards to pre-built keyboards, and that kind of brought me to this. This is the Keychron K4 version 2 keyboard. It comes with the different switches that you can actually use, and so just as a quick little explanation, you may know this or not, you have your keycaps and you have your switches. Keycaps are the things you see right here, and the switches are the things on the bottom that connect directly to the board. So as far as the steps that I went into, I didn't want to just jump in and buy something expensive right away. So I went ahead and got one of these. This is a keyboard switch tester that comes with a range of all Gateron switches. It has a Zelios and a Telios switch here. It ranges from clicky to silent to linear to tactile. And the reason I got this one in particular was that this keyboard right here was one that I was looking at, and it comes with the Gateron Red, or the Gateron Blue, or the Gateron Brown. And I went with the brown for this keyboard. So let me take a step back here and show you what I used to use as my keyboard. And don't laugh, it's pretty much just a standard flat membrane keyboard, but this is it. To explain what the issue is, since I have no sensation or feeling in the tips of my fingers, the flat profile of this keyboard, if you can see, means that I can't tell the difference when my fingers change across the buttons. I can't feel the difference between keys, and I can't feel if I'm indexed correctly on a key. So as I'm sliding over, the problem was I have no idea where my hands are when I'm typing. I can't tell where the other keys are. So this was a huge problem for me. And it wasn't until I looked into these mechanical keyboards that I realized that there's a whole world of different types of switches and profiles that I can choose from. So with the Keychron K4 here, you can see if you look at it from the side here, it's actually got very pronounced keys and sort of an upward slope. At each one of the keys has, I'll hold it in the light here, if you can see, each one of the keys has a little indentation on it that allows you to be able to have a little bit more tactile feel when you're setting your hands on the keyboard. So what that allows me to do is, as I'm switching between keys or moving around, so I can actually kind of make out the different keys. And you might notice that I have different colors on a couple of the keys that I've added here. That's because these keys can be swapped out. So for example, you take a little tool like this, drop it in, pull it out, and you can pull off the key. And like I said before, each key has a keycap, and it has a switch that actually sends the signal to the computer. And the switches on the inside are the ones that have different sensations and different sounds based on which ones you choose. So for example, if you're choosing like the Gateron Black or the Red, and you can see the blues are actually very clicky, Zelios, The greens are kind of clicky, but not as much as the blue. All the way down to silent here. So if you don't like any kind of click or any kind of sound, you can get silent. But on the top of that, you have how it sounds, plus you also have how it feels. You have a general sort of linear switch, which the red would be considered. But the browns have what they consider a tactile bump. So as you push it in, you're supposed to be able to feel a little bump to give you that feedback of the key going in. Again, what I found is that I can't feel that bump, even on the browns. So the only feedback I get is when the key bottoms out and the sound that it makes. So when I'm typing, I'll give you a test here. So I just basically typed, "Hi, my name is Carl, I love this keyboard." What that allows for with neuropathy is the audible feedback to let me know I have hit the button, as well as the tactile feedback of being able to feel where my hands are, and the visual feedback to know exactly where my hands are indexed. Every keyboard has this little notch on the index finger key, but I can't feel that at all. So I have no clue the difference between that key and that key. That's why I added a couple extra keycaps here to allow me to be able to index correctly and see exactly where the buttons are. Again, this isn't particularly a review of this keyboard. This is more geared towards the sort of neuropathy side. But as far as this keyboard goes, it has the OEM profile, which is this profile here of curved caps. There's other different profiles you can get for your keyboard. It comes with the Gateron red, brown, or blues if you want. I wanted the browns, which I've been pretty happy with so far, but I might upgrade, and this will help me do that because this is a hot swappable keyboard, meaning I can take the cap off, I can take the key switch out and replace it. One other feature about this that I absolutely love is the fact that it does work with multiple Bluetooth devices. For example, I use it with my home computer. So you hit function F1, it'll switch over to my PC. If I hit function F2, it'll switch over to my laptop. And if I hit function F3, it'll switch over to my iPad. So I can kind of seamlessly switch between each one of them, which is super awesome. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and leave a link to this, the keyboard switch tester, and the Keychron K4 down in the description below. I would encourage you to just at least go take a look at them. You can look at the different specs on this and get an idea of whether or not this might be something you might want to pick up to try out. I would definitely suggest if you have sort of tingling in your fingers or neuropathy or any problem like that stops you from typing on a normal keyboard, maybe just pick up one of these first. They have this one here with 12 different switches that works great with this one because that's the keys that they come with. They also have a larger version with a ton of different switches on it. It's a great way to figure out, okay, which one is going to give me the best feedback. Like for me, I know that the silent browns, I can't feel anything here. As far as my next steps go, I'm going to keep using this keyboard here, but I've been asking a little bit online about what is the best tactile feedback of a key that's kind of better than brown, but in sort of the medium clicky range, because I'm not a big fan of the Gateron blue. You might be, that's fine, but that's pretty loud for me. So I really hope this helps somebody. You know, I had such a hard time when this first started with not being able to type. Not that the computer is the world, but when you do stuff all day long, you do programming, you do video editing, you do emails, you do work, and you can't use a keyboard. It's just absolutely devastating. And that's why I kind of consider that this Keychron keyboard here has been pretty much a life changer for me. I mean, it just put me back into the flow of things. So if you are suffering from any sort of neuropathy or tingling or lack of feeling in your hands, this hopefully will help you out. And you know what? If it did, please leave a comment down below. I would absolutely love to hear if this was helpful for you or leading you in a direction to try to maybe find a solution. Drop a like on the video. It helps me out a lot. And go ahead and check out my channel. I do a lot of tech reviews, some tutorials, some how-tos. And if you're interested, subscribe. I'd love to see you back. Jump on the community tab. We can have some discussions. That's always fun. But for now, this is Carl from Techful Goodies, and I'm out.